All right, cyber traders, good afternoon and welcome on back here this Thursday, September 9th, 9/9. For anyone keeping track of the date there. Great to see all of us live inside the cyber group room. And for all of us joining us on social media, welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. So, without further ado, we'll start off with the stock on the screen here. DTST, it was a great call out at the time from one of our students, Scott. He posted right inside the live trading room at 2:25 Eastern here. DTST popping HOD. And what HOD means simply, and for any of our new trial members here, I would look for you to talk to your education advisor so they can inform you more about the lingo and how our trading room operates. But HOD means simply high of the day. So that's all Scott was calling out. I mean, it was a fantastic call out at the time. He called it out right on the nose at 225. For right now, it's shaking back down a little bit, but obviously still really active to begin this afternoon. So hopefully it doesn't flop, but we'll easily put this on our main list just to begin. Hopefully find support off of 7 here, or maybe 690 ish. Perhaps coming up very shortly, we'll look to see this make the pop back up the slingshot here. So we'll check back in with the stock easily at the end, but we got a lot to talk about from the morning. And really, I'm not going to talk too personal as much, but I'll tell you what's on my mind a little bit here. I didn't have the best morning. It's not to say that I lost a lot. It's to say that I took really no good opportunities that a lot of us were trading inside the cyber group room. For instance, GEVO. This stock was not on the morning watch list. I don't know if Fausto caught this in time, after it popped. He finished up the meeting and it was consolidating a little bit. But man, as soon as the market opened up, I mean, of course it moved up. At first on this trade, I thought there was a great chance that it would actually begin to go the other way, pull back. So I ended up actually trying to short it right off of 655. That was a pretty specific historical level. Held around there for a minute or two, no, a few minutes, but failed to drop, right? It popped up higher. So I took a couple of tiny losses, -3, -6. But nonetheless, as it kept pushing up, I failed to jump in this as a long. I thought I'd be chasing. So, man, I ended up missing a really good opportunity on this GEVO trade myself, whereas a bunch of us were able to jump in or did jump in and it paid off for you. The ANY trade, this was one that I ended up failing to capitalize on. I was looking at an entry here right off of 7. At first, it moved up without me. And then when it ended up pulling back, it just chopped around that price so much. I took another couple of losses there. So once it popped back up and popped over the line that I had here at 716, pretty strong resistance leading into the market open, it moved up without me. So, it's not to say that there was an opportunity in the morning or going into the early parts of the afternoon, but you had to be there at the right place at the right time, right? Now, with that in mind, I actually had a pretty good afternoon so far. So I will say the mid afternoon, the last hour prior to us starting this meeting, really saved my day. The BBIG trade. So you can see how tough this stock was to trade, at least from earlier on this morning. Stock ended up chopping around 10 at first. It ended up dipping back under and over a really specific level we had called out yesterday off of 975, 966. I think that was the closing bell price back from Tuesday's trading. Long story short, no pun intended, I was very thankful I was able to jump in this trade from 10 bucks, ran it up to like 1082. I ended up jumping in from there even, and then ran it up just now. So I actually took half my profits much earlier on this last trade that I'm in. I got out on 500 shares just before at 11:05. I'm still holding on to the other shares I have from entry price 1082. But man, this was a nice trade today. It took a long while to get the gears going, but obviously it ended up paying off. And for right now, although it's shaking back down here, the BBIG, I'm still in it myself. Not just because I'm in it, am I going to put it on the list, but if it could hold support perhaps off of the opening bell print from yesterday. That's exactly off of $11.12. We're looking for that to hold as support. If not that, then exactly 11, but really 11.12. If this could hold and push back up sooner than later, I feel really confident that we can get a run back up towards 12. Not to say exactly at 12. Maybe you'll hit the high here. 1190 first and then back down. We'll see. But easily enough, just for the potential, we'll put this stock back on our watch list. And then really otherwise, I mean, I'll check back in on GEVO. I didn't necessarily say this was going to be on our list just yet. Pretty choppy so far heading into the afternoon, moving in a much tighter range. If anything, this seems just like a head and shoulders that's being built right now. So maybe I'm not as keen to put the GEVO trade on our watch list for the close. If it ends up making a big pop here as I continue to go from top to bottom, folks, then I'll reconsider. We had a couple of other trades outside of those that we had discussed. The RKLB stock, number 5 on the gainers list. We'll get to that, very shortly from now. Actually got the warrants number 2, but we're going to skip those. So we'll see what else we got. KUR or CURV curve. I don't know what this is. Torrid Holdings, interesting, but ended up making a big pop after the market opened up, roughly from 21, essentially up to 25 where it's at now, but it's got very thin volume on the books, so I'm not too particular about trading this stock right now. I mean, if you want to go back to yesterday's, list, and I told you folks, you got to be super careful with a stock like EFTR, not just because it dropped off, but looking at the liquidity on the order book here, it's extremely thin. And I said it the way I'll say it here. Hey, if you want to gamble, if you'd rather gamble than make a highly educated decision, then this would be the type of stock. I'd say the same to be said here on Curve, right? But clearly, here inside the Cyber Group room for the 120 of us live here today, we are not looking to gamble. If you're looking to gamble, they got some online casinos out there. You could take a nice trip to Atlantic City, maybe Vegas if you're on the West Coast. I'll tell you this also, but at least this was, providing some sense of a direction heading into the afternoon. It was pushing up beautifully from the morning. This RKLB stock from 16 roughly up to 1950 ended up beginning to make a new trend later on as it built support from 1750-ish and bounced from there. Ended up making a new high just before as it peaked to a high of 2134 and then ended up just dropping back down now. Like practically it's a 2-point drop off from its high of the day right now. It's approaching that 2-point mark. But yeah, I mean, if it was holding better in relation to its highs right now as we're talking, if it was, then I'd be interested in putting this on the list. How wouldn't I be, right? But right now, with this dumping back down as fast as it had popped up just before, it seems like the run is more likely to be done on this trade here. All right, I'm still watching the BBIG stack as I'm still in the 500 shares in on that. All right, so we'll keep it going, folks. See what else we got across the gainers list first. Really more particular towards price and volume than anything. Like CEI, for example, obviously very cheap stock, but it's trading a lot of volume, which I normally wouldn't be a fan of. I mean, 173 million shares at this time of the day. Normally, a stock would be quite exhausted with trading that many shares at this time of the day. But hey, this is at the highs, right? So, easily enough, we'll put this on our list and hope to see continuation. You might have to wait till 3:15, 3:30 Eastern time in order to make that real big pop that you're hoping for. If it ends up lasting 120 here right now and runs, then hey, we'll take it. But, don't be shocked if you see a false breakout at first and then go from that point. Needless to be said, AEHR, right? So, right, I mean, hey, at this time of the day, for anyone new that's joining our afternoon meetings here on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube, hey, welcome aboard. If you're a new student joining us live inside Cyber Group, still getting familiar with, how we conduct our meetings, it's to say this. Here in the afternoons, you want to really focus more on direction and stocks that are near or at their highs of the day or lows of the day, respectively. So that's why I said, needless to be said here, with the AEHR right at the highs, right? Is it at all-time highs? That's the big question. It's pretty close. Oh, crap. This thing's really close to all-time highs. Got to go back to June of 2008. The all-time high looks to be right here at $11.20. I got to zoom in more on this thing. This being a pain in my butt. Yeah, 11.20. You can see from 2006, the all-time high was back from $11.18, but then here in 2008, it broke it by 2 pennies. But you see what happened afterwards, right? I mean, clearly a big false breakout from that point. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's getting pretty close to those all-time highs with it at the highs of the day today. Of course, we'll put this on our list. All right, we'll see what else we got. We got a bunch of other familiar names, actually, believe it or not, on the gainer side here. Got Pays, got Abus. ENVB has become a familiar name. PMCB is been called out today. Again, ABUS at the highs, right? So that appeals to me, but right now it's trading about 9, 10, maybe 11,000 shares per minute. It's got to break through a lot of orders in order for this to make the run up to 4. And then from there, can it break 4 and run up much higher? It's a lot to ask for with this stock trading not as much volume per minute as we would want to see. So, we'll keep it on the side list. ABUS very tradable still. And PMCB not a whole. Actually, you know what? This actually broke a new high of the day just earlier. A lot of this was from pre-market here, so it actually broke a regular session high of the day, this PMCB, but had pulled back since. So yeah, we'll keep this on the side as well. Keep it going, keep it going. ENVB for right now. It seems like it's trying to perk up here across the last, 5 or 10 minutes, perhaps from like 335 up to 345. If we need to come back to it, we will, but for right now, we'll pass. Oh, it's actually starting to pop, so maybe I do come back to that at the end there. All right, see what else we got at least in the meantime here. The PIRS trade, not a whole lot happening right now. CRDF on the way down. It actually is shortable, but we'll pass on this at least for the meantime. Market's dropping also. So, normally I'd say, I mean, the market's not tremendously down, but trending down heading into the afternoon. So perhaps you might find one or two familiar names on the loser side. We'll see. I'll tell you where else I messed up this morning because, I just like to speak from experience and it's at the highs of the day right now. But I don't know why. Maybe I was just more focused on making PowerPoints this morning for our workshops coming up. But it's to say that I was more focused on FBRX this morning compared to HGEN. HGEN was coming off the bad news from this morning. This was the better stock to follow. I mean, it's easy to say looking at what had happened, but FBRX, I was looking for a similar result given how much the stock had dropped off from late last week. Obviously picked the wrong trade. So this HGen stock, I mean, hey, it was on the morning watch list, right? Fausto gave this to us specifically. So, I couldn't have messed it up any further than I did. But hey, this one ended up making a huge dead cat bounce, after the market opened up, still trying to push up right now for us. So, yeah, I mean, really tradable still at this point in the day. I'll put it back on our list and maybe I'll finally jump in this thing. All right, so we'll keep it going, folks. See what else we got on the loser side. Got some call outs, got some questions from us live inside Cyber Group. So I'll get to you folks first from Bob B and Patrick. Bob, you had a pretty good trade, if I'm not mistaken, on GEVO. XNet down big, but pretty slow here. I really don't see any other familiar names, and that's fine by me. Hey, if there's anything else that's up, down, left, right, more than 5%, folks, type it in the chat board. Let me know really quickly. And at first, I'll jump back to the trading room because I said I had a couple of questions. So from Bob, he had said on ATER. Oh, and he did really well on Clove today, not the I don't know what the GEVO stock that I had said. Bob killed it on the Clove stock today. That was right. So Bob had a question. He was just in relation to the ATER. He is holding ATER for a swing trade. He's in from $8.70. So he's doing pretty good so far. Any better ideas on it? So we'll figure that out more as we head into the final hour of the trading day here, Bob. A lot could happen even the next 5 minutes, let alone the next hour. So as soon as we finish up this meeting, myself and Rich will be on the mic and we'll be making call outs. At least for right now, if you're looking for this to accelerate upward, if not today, then perhaps tomorrow and continuing going forward, 10's a big level. I mean, that's the reason why I jumped in on BBIG today off of 10. And thankfully, that paid off for me. But if it didn't, and if it broke below 10, it's just to say that my belief would be that this would have made a much bigger drop, pretty similar to the pop that it made here. So perhaps it could have dropped all the way down to like 9, maybe below 9. So it's just to say you want to make sure that you get higher lows here. You see support hold, you get a pop back up. So we'll talk more about that as we continue the audio broadcast live inside the trading room here coming up. All right. From Patrick, he says, deja vu, giant pennant building on the 15-minute chart for the ANY trade. Yeah, right now it's pinning back down towards 715, and that's not looking too good for the trade that I'm in, which is from 715. So, yeah, I might be getting stopped, or I might have to close the trade out. I don't have my stop in right now, so we're gonna have to finish up this meeting quick before this drops on me. But nonetheless, yeah, it looks likely, Patrick. So we'll see what comes of it. 715-ish was a pretty strong level from earlier today. So if it wants to pop, it's got to pop soon, right? All right, so let me see what I got on YouTube here. Got a few comments right now from Louis. Welcome aboard, Louis. He's saying, how do you feel about GEVO? So that I was late to that comment from Louis about 6 minutes ago. So yeah, for the afternoon, I don't know, it hasn't done much since we left off with the trade. So I'm going to pass on it right now. If it seems like there's a better chance of it dropping off. If it ends up popping back up over, 790 perhaps, we'll see it make a sharper run up. You still have to worry about 8 resistance at first. All right, but it doesn't look that active right now, at least. From Daniel in CEI from 108, nice. And he says only about a quarter size though. He says mucho profit taken. Okay, so at least you took a lot of profit already. So he says he has a quarter of his position remaining. So yeah, that's a nice trade, Daniel. Yeah, this is the type of stock you could trade 3, 5, 10,000 shares. I mean, hey, everyone has their own account size, so it's just to say on a cheaper stock like this that has really good liquidity, you feel a lot more comfortable with it. So you could just trade more shares than you normally are used to. That's it. And from Doug joining us late here today, the HGen trade already on our list. Already on our list. This one's still looking phenomenal. Just popped over 8 right now, though, so I appreciate the second look. All right, I'll tell you, we don't need to force too many stocks on our watch list. We never like to, but I'm just going to jump to Benzinga Pro to see if there's anything else that altogether we may have missed. Like KXIN, high of the day, right? This is worth watching, right? Nah, it's not worth watching. Frey, FREY up 6+%, just popped right now. But still, I want to see a lot more out of this trade in relation to volume, not just like the 22-cent pop here. So, for right now, I'll pass on this. Daniel says new high of the day on AMC. Yeah, so I guess we wouldn't have found this on the gainers or loser side, just only up 2%. But obviously, a great call, a stock that we are very familiar with. It's making a new HOD, so we like to see that. Hey, if you do really well on AMC on a day to day or at least a week to week basis, and I'm not just saying that to Daniel, I'm saying that to the 120 of us live inside the trading room here, for the 10 of us live inside the live stream on YouTube and on Facebook as well. I got more than that, but it's to say, hey, you know who you are if you've done really well on this trade. You got to be the person to answer that question. Did you do really well on this stock over the last few days, last week and a half? If yes, then I would definitely look to try and follow this stock more so compared to some of the others. But if that answer is no, then I'd rather focus on the list here to begin. The CEI, the BBIG still, the HGen trade that was looking really nice at this point. All right, so I'm going to keep this off the main special list, Daniel. But again, for all of us, you know who you are if you've done well on this trade here. It's not making like as big, volatile, grand looking of a pop as I would want to see for me to put it on like the main list right now. That's all. All right, I think that we're just about good to go, folks. Today is Thursday, which means tomorrow I'll continue to talk about Bitcoin for anyone here looking, for insight on that. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at least. But for all of us on social media, otherwise, Facebook Live and YouTube, if you're interested in joining us live inside our trading room for the 120 of us there right now, we'll be continuing the audio commentary. If you're interested in joining us, feel more than free by going right down to the link on the banner below of the stream just to get yourself started on a small trial. Otherwise, though, I always like to post my email address here live inside the YouTube chat, josh@ctutrading.com. Hey, if you have any questions prior to joining our live trading room, feel more than free to email me. I'm more than happy to help you out as soon as the market closes up, or at least later on. We'll have a chance to answer. All right, folks. But aside from that, for all of us there right now, including Bob, Patrick, Leda, got Gene, got Michael, got Scott, and for all of us otherwise, I look forward to talking to you folks coming up pretty shortly from here. Take care.